Yeah. Forget the rest. How y'all feeling? You're rocking with the best radio station on the planet. SDM Live Unplugged.
Hello. We're back. Real Talk with Crystal,
Jenny J,
and Rosalind.
So today our topic will be about premarital sex. Should you have sex before marriage or should you wait?
Well, before we jump into that, how was y'all, weeks? Because we don't see each other often or talk.
Girl, my week is always busy, them kids, I got an army. So I'm always...
Nothing exciting, nothing...
Where the wine?
Oh, I've been drinking the wine up, girl.
Where the wine? But yeah, I'm always busy.
Okay. What about you, Chris?
Long. I don't have anything else to say about it. Just long.
I've been drinking the wine up. But I'm about to do this 30-day challenge. I already did one 30-day challenge. No additional sugars. So I still really been sticking with that. It felt hard at first, but then, it got easy. So I was like, I'm just going to maintain that. So the next one I'm doing is no fruits. All fruits, all vegetables, nothing else.
Oh.
For 30 days. So we'll see. Hopefully y'all see me shrinking right before your eyes.
I know that's right. I think I'll try just about anything. As long as I don't have to give up my wine or nothing like that, then we good.
I'm not going to be able to drink because of the sugar. So that's the one thing that's going to get me.
I can't do
it's
that.
Not a fruit or a vegetable.
Nope.
So I'm about to put it in this weekend.
Well, you said you couldn't eat. That's a beverage. That's a drink.
I might try to sneak in a red wine because I think the red got less sugar in it. Yeah. So that's about it. Okay. That's all. We got to talk,
I didn't really have a lot to say because I'm not doing all that extra stuff. I am eating sensibly. And that's it. Okay. I'm not really going to restrict anything because it's not something that's going to be long term or forever. So
yeah, it's just a challenge.
Just not restricting
I want something
nothing.
that I just ain't got to put the work into. Well, it just can't happen overnight. What's somebody going to invent that? Just drop it off.
All right. So that was the only exciting thing happening in my life. So I'll keep y'all posted how that's going.
Okay.
All right. So premarital sex.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes or no?
Well, I was told to wait till you get married to have sex. As y'all know, I didn't wait till I got married to have sex.
I don't think nobody at this table waited.
I wished I had waited to get married to have sex. My daughters, I pray and I hope they wait until they get married to have sex. But if they don't, I hope that they will come and talk to me just so I can educate them and,
So why'd you say, unfortunately, that you didn't wait?
Huh?
Why'd you say it was like, unfortunately, you didn't wait? Like, what was... Do you think it would have been different?
Just like, it just wasn't worth it. And like, good things. I have 2 kids that came out of it, but other than that, like, I could have waited.
Okay.
Like in other cultures and stuff, like Muslims and things like that, how they wait till they get married. Mm-hmm. But they learn other things, like...
I'm about to say, but that minute they do anal. They do
anal, but they do oral.
Yeah, they do other sexual things.
They very heavy into, like, sex toys and things like that. Like, they actually learn their body and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like, I didn't know my body when I lost my virginity. I didn't know that. I didn't know my body. And a lot of women still don't know that.
I'm about to say, do any of us really at that? And then it really depends on how old you are when you lose your virginity.
Yeah, so, I don't know about if you, like, we was taught to wait till you're married, but I think you should wait till you're really educated and know a lot more. So don't be just doing it just because, like, people encourage you to do it. Like, people, even before I even lost, people was encouraging me at a very early age, friends, school, like, different things, like, lose your virginity. I remember being, like, I was in, like, the 7th grade, and I remember a girl came in the bathroom like, y'all better lose your virginity before y'all get y'all period. And I was like this is literally...
She was up on game, like, you can't get pregnant, girl.
Like, she was on game, and I'm still like a kid. I wasn't even connecting. I had a dial. I wasn't even connecting the dots. I didn't even know that. all that went hand in hand. So, yeah, she was very more mature. So, I should say, educate yourself, educate your kids, because you don't want kids, because kids will try to educate your kids. I'm just saying.
Definitely.
So, I don't know. To each his own. What y'all think?
For me, sometimes I feel like I wish I would have waited. But I ain't even married yet, so I'll still be waiting. I would be the 42-year-old virgin.
What's up to it?
But I could see why the benefits of waiting. I think sometimes by us having so many sexual partners prior to being with the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, you have things to compare the sex to. So if the sex is not as good with your mate,
I think if the sex is not good, I think it's you. I think it's on a person. I think it's all about what you put into it. I think, like, you gotta willing to be open, talk, teach,
okay,
and all that type of stuff. So.
Yeah, but still, the first time you do it, if it's bad, it's bad.
Yeah,
and then you have to get to those points. Yeah. But you have that comparison because you may be like, damn, my ex was putting it down. You know what I'm saying? But whereas if you a virgin going into it, what do you have it to compare to? Nothing.
Right.
And then that could be bad too because you can have years of unfulfilled sexual satisfaction.
I know. I think it's a lot of women. When I hear women say that they don't enjoy sex or they don't like sex and things like that, I be looking like
it's a lot of women like that too.
Like, you must not have had a good orgasm or something because it's no way that you cannot want that feeling or crave that feeling. So I don't know.
I think it depends too on your. Now it could depend on your body. There could be something going on with their body, which is why they're not enjoying it. It could be that the sexual partner sucks. So, it could be a lot of different reasons why they don't. But if it's something going on with their body and they don't realize that it's something medical or hormonal, then that could play a big part. And then,
a lot of times, they don't think, women supposed to enjoy sex. Some women don't think they're supposed to enjoy it. Some cultures, they don't think women are supposed to enjoy sex. You're just there to please the man. What's it called when they...
Where they castrate the women.
Some
cultures do.
Yeah, they castrate the women. Some cultures, especially when they just take away, they don't want them to be able to have an orgasm or anything like that. You just have a whole... just to satisfy the man.
And it's selfish because they don't want her to have pleasure and to go out and cheat on him.
At all.
Pretty much. Because there's no other reason to do that.
Yeah.
In most of those cultures, the women aren't the ones cheating. That's the crazy part.
That's just
they're not the ones cheating.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So,
I think you should wait until you get married. I would, and that ain't just for women. I think men too. Some men do wait, and y'all can learn each other together. I don't know. I think so, but it's to each his own. It have to be something. I would love me and my husband would have been each other first and everything like that. That would have been interesting, I think. So
I think that does make it more special.
Yeah, I do.
If you're your partners first, I think it's a different type of intimacy that it builds. But shoot, most of us lose our virginity way young. Yeah. So it don't be worth it because it be whack. You don't even know what you're doing.
Whack.
I could have waited for that.
This what y'all talking about? This was all the hype was about,
right?
But and then I know a lot of women as they get older, and they decide to be celibate. A lot of women decide as they get older, whatever. I don't want to keep having sex with different men or whatever. These relationships are not working out. So I'm just going to press upon and be celibate. Not saying they're not going to date, but we just not going to be having sex until I've decided I found my husband. Mm-hmm. And I know a few women that has done that.
I don't see nothing wrong with that. Because sex does can cloud things in a relationship prior to marriage.
Definitely. And I do believe in soul ties. So a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm definitely a believer in it. Sometimes you got to purge that soul about you.
Yes.
Don't get dickmatized. Can I say dickmatized on here?
You said it,
said
girl.
it.
So what about you, Crystal? You all quiet over there like you about to fall out?
I'm sorry. Don't get. Well, this girl talking Unfiltered. Don't get dickmatized, ladies.
Right.
Or pussy. I mean, okay. Crystal, what you ain't saying?
Or whipped.
Or whipped.
Or whipped, fellas.
Whatever. Yeah. Y'all know, mama. Monique, say
I
something.
said a word.
So what's your thoughts,
Really?
ma'am?
I'm pretty much where you guys are. I don't think it's worth it to even do it. Like, if I could have waited, I definitely would have waited. Because when you do it, a lot of times, especially when you're young, like if you're still a teenager, a lot of times you do it because you like somebody, you have a crush on somebody, you think you're in love. So, or you do it because of peer pressure. Like a lot of times you're not doing it and really thinking it through because you're too young to understand how serious it is, and that once you do it, that's it.
You can't get it back.
Yeah.
No. You can't take your sex back.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that because you're not mature enough, you're not old enough, you're not wise enough to understand how serious that is. And then once you get older, then a lot of women do have those regrets. And I don't know about the men, I can't really speak for men, but a lot of women do have regrets because it's like, why did I do that? Like it wasn't worth it. It wasn't anything special. I could have waited. And it's like, it's too late. And then like you guys were saying, then you have multiple partners because if you lose your virginity, say 16, there's no telling. You done slept with probably at least 5 or more people by the time you do settle down and get married. So if you don't get married to 35, imagine how many relationships you've been in. Imagine how many intimate partners you've had, whether it was somebody you was in a relationship with or somebody you were just sleeping with.
Right.
And it's like, I think a lot of times by the time you sleep with so many people, you lose a little part of yourself. Like you're leaving a part of yourself with them.
But some people, like, they don't have no, what's the word? I'm an emotional person. Like, some people could just be like, sex is just sex.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
They don't have no emotional
But it's like, it's no
attachment to it.
emotional, no attachment. It's just like,
For some,
like it is what it is. But a lot of times I be thinking people be lying when they say it's no type of emotional period. Like you gotta feel some type of way for the person.
No, you don't.
no,
No, you don't.
No,
For
you don't.
Yeah. But some people, a screw is just a screw.
Yeah.
But I mean, reality is, think about it. If you're sleeping with a guy for over a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years,
Somebody catching feelings.
yeah,
It gotta be some type
Yeah.
of way.
Yeah, feelings start getting in there.
So you do lose you lose a bit of yourself, just not only putting yourself into some of your relationships and then some of your situationships, I believe is how they say it. So you lose a little part of yourself because who you were when you started having sex, emotionally, you are so different. Like say another 10 years from now, and then 3 partners later, because there's no telling how much of your heart or yourself that you put into dealing with these people.
Right.
So by the time you actually do settle down, some people, you're so emotionally damaged because you gave your body, you gave yourself, you gave your heart, you gave everything.
Right.
So, I mean, again, if I could do it over, I probably wouldn't have, but I do love that I have my daughter, so.
And then even like with men, I don't know if they want to wait till they get married, but men get a lot of peer pressure to have sex, at early, like you lose your virginity or whatever the case may be, because I guess it's not cool to be a virgin at a certain age as a male or whatever, but I know some guys, they be like, I lost my virginity way too young. It's a lot of female molesters out there to take advantage of these young men.
Yes.
But like, it really is. They just don't get it. It's a double standard when it comes to that, as far as men and women.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it comes peer pressure with men too. I think sometimes they feel like they lose they stuff too early.
But I mean, honestly though, with peer pressure, I feel like you just have to be strong. You cannot let I remember when I used to have all my friends, I had friends that were having sex. I had friends that were drinking. I had friends that were smoking. And people be like, "You're not gonna drink, you're not gonna smoke, you're not gonna do." Oh, that's lame. You ain't gonna do it. No, I'm not. And I never did it. I did have sex eventually, but I didn't drink. I didn't smoke, and I wasn't pressured into anything. And I didn't allow anybody to pressure me into it.
Right.
That's not what I wanted to do, and I didn't care how many of my friends were doing it. I'd be the eyeball.
Yeah.
I don't remember peer pressure.
I mean, I had some peer pressure when I was younger. My friends, you know how y'all sneak over your boyfriend's house or whatever, and we all snuck over our boyfriend's, and they were all sexually active, so they was in different rooms doing whatever. And the guy that I was talking to, I wasn't ready for all that. So I know he probably felt some type of way, but no matter how much they tried to convince me and tell me it's only gonna hurt a little bit, let me stick it to hell. I mean,
the heck?
This is the. I'm just telling you, this is the stuff kids say. I was a kid.
Wait, you said let me stick the head in? Grown men say that.
Okay,
Grown men say
like,
that.
dude, come on.
You ain't up. Like,
Dudes, they so lame.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
and even like my
I'm not gonna
friends
do it all the way, just a little bit. Let me just do it a little bit.
and I was just like, no. So I tell people, like, definitely talk to your kids at all, because you think these kids are, they know some stuff.
Yeah.
And they will tell you some stuff.
Yeah, and that is, I do agree. Something one of you said earlier, that is one of the worst things, is to have your children learn about anything from their peers. Because kids, I don't want to call them idiots, but kids are retarded. They don't know anything yet. They're still kids. I mean, some of these adults don't know anything. So when you have a child educating another child on sex, on drugs, alcohol, you know, just anything, anything that has to do with life, they're going to get bad advice because these kids have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
None.
So, like, when my daughter comes to me, I have a 13-year-old, so she comes to me and she's talking about something that happened in school, or she like a boy or a boy like her or something, you know, I try not to give a, you know, like I want her to feel comfortable enough to come and talk to me. So we'll have a discussion. I'll find out what she think about it, give her my opinion, and let's come up with a solution.
So do you plan on so I remember earlier you were saying that you was going to tell her, like, encourage no sex before marriage.
I do encourage no sex before marriage. She says she's going to wait until she gets married. And I also told her if she feel like something is going to happen before then, because as much as you want to keep your kid away from sex and all that, I'm more of a realist. If you want something to happen, it's going to happen. I'd rather for her to come and talk to me, and we'll discuss it. Now, my son, on the other hand, I talked to him about sex or whatever. He told me he was going to be ready when he was 16.
Well, at least he honest.
So I was like, that's what he 15 now. So I'm like, okay, well, come and talk to me, because ain't no grandma over here now. That ain't going to happen. So, you know, you try to be open. You try to be honest and figure out this parenting thing, because I try to be open with my kids about sex and certain things, because I wouldn't tell my parents nothing about no sex. You think we about to have a conversation about me like somebody?
No.
If I didn't have kids, my mama would think I was a virgin right now. Okay? I'm trying to tell you, no. I'm not going to. So I try to educate him.
I can see him doing it. I really could. I think
No, he's actually a good kid. He's still.
It don't make you a bad
I
kid.
know he's a good
sex.
kid, but no, he just, I don't know. It's something about him. I can see that one girl that he meets that he really into. If she try to give it, he's going for it.
I think it'd probably be the girl to put the more pressure on
Yeah.
him.
Because girls is fast.
I know, so he's still like a kid or whatever, but
That's
I think
good.
if the girl, I don't think he'll pressure the girl, but I think
No.
the girl will be the one to pressure
Oh,
him.
it is gonna be the girl. It's
So-
gonna be the girl.
So I'm Lord.
Well, that's good how you did it, because I do think, you know, from a religious standpoint, I think, at least for me and Chris, that's how we were raised, the religious aspect of it. But I do think it's a personal choice, and it shouldn't just be just that dialogue being had. Like, don't have sex before marriage, because it's a sin. Because realistically, parents, y'all was having sex before y'all got married. So how you gonna expect us to live at a higher standard than what you was living?
And then y'all also have to realize it's a lot of hormones going on.
Yes.
Just like them boys going heat, them girls be in heat too.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to do. You know, like.
Yeah.
You figure it out.
Yeah, so I don't know. You have to educate people about their bodies and all that type of stuff and sex, and you gonna like a boy and them hormones gonna be raging. You better go take a shower. I don't know what you need to do.
And at the end of the day, just educate on, do your pros and your cons, because once you do it, you can't get it back.
Yep.
And you don't want to regret something like that. I don't think I regret when I lost my virginity. I don't think I regret it, because it was just, I was ready to do it. I just wanted to see what it was like. Like, I want to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh my God, I love him so much, and we're gonna get married. It wasn't like that. So it was what it was. So it wasn't like
I was in love. I thought I was in love. So
I don't know if it's worse or better when you lose it, because you just like, okay, let's just see what it is. Let's see what it's about. Because when I did it, that was, I mean, don't get me wrong, he was hot. That boy was fine. I'm not gonna lie. My ex, and that was my first. That was like my first real relationship and everything. But it wasn't love or anything. I was just like, okay, let's do it. Like, let's see what it's about. Like, whatever what everybody talking about.
It was different for me. It was like a whole year contemplating. I thought I was in love. It was a whole.
Oh, girl, no.
It was a whole situation. I thought we was gonna be together forever, because in my head that's what we was told. Wait till you get married.
That's so sweet.
In my head, and then.
Girl, it is, because I didn't have those childhood that type of stuff. I didn't have those type of experiences when it came to intimacy. But I'm not a real intimate person, so it was what it was. Like, we doing this or what?
He was the first guy to ever buy me flowers. He had flowers sent to my house. Everything. I was.
He was laying it on thick.
Girl, yeah.
He was laying it on thick.
You can get it.
But I was his first as well.
Okay.
But
you can get all this. So any last ones? I think we're going to take a quick break. Anybody got last words on the premarital sex? I think we just about talked that out.
I think it's to each his own. We taught to wait. I mean, I feel like maybe you should wait, or not maybe wait till you get ready, but wait until you're ready.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. Don't let nobody press you. To make sure that's a decision that you want to do. Are you doing it because you want to do it, or are you doing it to make somebody else happy?
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest things is to make an informed decision. Parents, and especially old school parents, they do tell you don't do anything. It is a sin, blah, 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 blah. And I mean, while I agree with that, the thing is, you can't just tell us that and that's the end of it. We think we're in love, we have a crush, or we just, we're being pressured or anything. You have to really talk to your kids. Like, have a real open discussion. Allow them to really talk to you and have a conversation with you, and let them know that they don't have to be afraid to ask you any questions, to share anything with you, and be honest with them. Let them know, not only the part about sin, but let them know what's really going on, what's going to happen. Like, really make sure they know everything they need to know. Even when it comes to, condoms, you had these kids having sex. They're not using protection. They're getting STDs. Some you can get rid of, some you can't. Like, these kids need to understand what's really going on.
They do.
And we have to stop sugarcoating things, even though it's a new age parenting thing going on nowadays, so they don't sugarcoat a whole lot.
These teachers, these kids could teach you something now.
Man.
Girl.
Man.
I'm just saying.
I know.
Different generation.
All righty then. Okay. Well, we are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in a moment.
In the mix. Back to back, beat to beat. Come on, DJ. Hit me with another track.
Self-made. Ask about me, I'm self-made. If I hustler, I'm self-made. If I trippin', I'm self-made. Keep the hoes hating, I'm self-made. Self-made, yeah, self-made. Self-made. Beans every time a nigga ask about me. Hands if a bitch speak bad about me. Loud, you know I keep that pat round me. Lot of hitters, so yeah, I keep that strap on me. You wanna smoke, babe? wish a bitch would. East one land and scale apart, nigga, that my hood. Even 8 making dollars, miss me with that dumb shit. Glock on me, hoe, hammer time, can't touch this. Bezel got my nose stuffed up, this shit disgusting. Hanging with that black bitch, tats on the tits. Swerving, counting money, getting hit, bitch, I do this. We legal now, let the real niggas out. Hoe steady running at the mouth, give 'em like jaw. Boss bitch, top dog, ain't shit, pop dog. Coming to the top, in your spot, get you knocked off. Trick, I be getting to the chicken, ain't no hot
About me, I'm self-made. Certified hustler, I'm self-made. Red bottom stripping, I'm self-made. Get the hoes hating, I'm self-made. Yeah.
Self-made, yeah, self-made. Self-made, self-made. Self-made, yeah, self-made. Self-made, oh girl, bitch, I don't play no games. Oh girl, I come and fuck your nigga. Oh girl, talk shit, I beat your ass. Oh girl, oh girl, oh girl. Oh girl, pull up in the unmarked trucks. Oh girl, they tryna put me under the jail. Oh girl, bitch, I don't get no fucks. Oh girl, oh girl, oh girl.
Hey, welcome back. So we are about to go into our special Crystal's Corner. Since that's what I named it. That's not official, but I like it. What you think?
I'm just not even looking over at you right
I
now.
like it.
I named it.
Look,
I like it.
Crystal's current events.
I thought mine was Jenny J's Corner.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know what
Crystal's
you named
current
it.
events then.
Yeah.
And then you Jenny J's
That
Corner.
don't have like a sexy thing to
Oh,
it.
but then you need to come
We
up
gotta
with
come up with something better.
Okay.
So we got a few things to talk about, y'all. First, let's start with all the deaths.
Who died?
Shock G,
Oh.
Black Rob, DMX. Huh? No, I don't know. I wasn't paying no attention. So
You said DMX, Shock G. You know what? When somebody called me and told me that Shock G died, like, I know that name. But then when I was like, Humpty.
Hump, yeah.
I was like, they should have said, I was like, I forgot his name was Shock G. Yeah, and they were so young. Like 50. Like, I think Shock G was only 50, 51.
He's between 50 and 52.
And
yeah.
DMX was 50, 51 too, wasn't he?
Yep.
So,
And Black Rob, I think
right.
what's his name? I
Black
don't know how
Rob was
old he
saying
was.
it's that same age group. So, but they lived some. It appeared that they lived fast lives. Yeah, from what we could see, that could have all been an act. You know what I'm saying? They may have had apple juice in the dang on drink bottle and in the videos and stuff, but you know, because all of them don't drink.
Yeah, but they all passed within like a month.
Yeah, they
All
did.
three of them.
Yep. And I don't know what happened with. I know DMX had a heart attack, or he OD'd.
No, he overdosed.
Then he
Then
had a heart
it
attack.
caused him to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And then with I don't know what happened with Shock G.
I'm not sure. I just know they found his body, and I don't know if it was a hotel or something.
Yeah.
And they found his body. So
Yep. And then Black Rob. And that man,
who already had a lot of medical issues.
yeah, he did have medical issues. But it's crazy because, like, when you start hearing the people that you grew up with passing, it really
It hits home.
It-
Yeah,
yeah,
it hits home for you.
because like I had a cousin that just passed away, and we went to the funeral, and it hit different. When you older and you go to a funeral, it hit different because this was my mom's first cousin. So now it's like, oh wait a minute now y'all dying off. So it's like it hit. Cause now your mama getting old, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's it's a different type of feeling.
Yeah.
Cause now we about to be the heads of the family. Cause they getting older.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely harder. But I was just thinking about it. I was like, it's crazy because I'm like, no matter what went on with DMX, it don't matter, drugs, everything. People always liked him. He was that person that I never heard anybody ever say anything bad about DMX at all.
Nope. I ain't hear he was on crack. I was always prayed that he got better and got off of it.
Yeah.
But I think everybody realized like DMX was like a tortured soul.
He was.
He was like torn. He was very much so in the word, like with God.
Definitely.
And that was prominent in his music. And he talked about like that battle that he had with the world and with Christianity and all of that stuff. So I think people respected that and they understood, you know, where he was coming from.
Yeah. They said they liked the fact that he always kept it real, that he was just one of the realest people that they've ever met. He didn't pretend. He didn't come fake with anything. He was just real about everything.
Yep.
And that does make a big difference.
His procession was off the chain. Did y'all see it?
I saw a little bit.
It was long, but that's what's up. I was like, that's a good send-off. Unfortunately, he passed under them circumstances, though.
Yeah. But then I was thinking about it when I was putting this in my phone to talk about it, and I was like, dang, I was thinking about different celebrities, like Tupac died young, Biggie died young, Aaliyah died young, Left Eye, Prince, he is still pretty young.
In his
50s. Michael Jackson 50s. In his 50s.
Whitney.
Gerald Levert, Whitney Houston. I'm like, and all of them are singers. And I was like, it's crazy that so many of them died so young. And then thinking about how some of them died from drugs.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's kind of part of the industry.
It comes with the
I mean, because at the end of the day, in our regular lives, when we party, that's kind of like the party scene. And it may not be drugs, like hard drugs, but you definitely is some weed in this drink. That's the scene.
Yeah.
So that's the culture in that industry. So
yeah, it's just really sad and just like really unfortunate to have your life cut so short. And then it was crazy is how many people go into the music industry or just entertainment industry, period. You can have one hit show or one hit song and then nothing else. And then you struggling for the rest of your life.
That's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
I tell people, look at Disney. All them people off Disney be jacked up. All them childhood stars. It's very few that's not that haven't had a rough life.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff I think that happens to them.
Yeah.
In the industry with Disney, because those kids do have, they like trip out. It ain't like normal, like, oh, we wild. No, they like have like mental breakdowns.
Yeah, every time I see, what's his name? That be with Raven Simone.
I know who you're talking about.
What's his name?
I can't remember his name.
The boy from Raven show?
Yeah, that's Raven.
I can't think of his name, but
that was on Family Matters that grew up with. Yeah. It breaks my heart every time I see him. Because his mind is gone. And it is so sad.
But some of them be giving these kids drugs when they're kids. Some of them molested. A lot of them, I believe, are molested. It's a lot of stuff that go on in the music industry as well. So, I mean, I can see it because you got a lot of people, when they're molested, a lot of people do end up drinking or end up using some kind of drugs as a way to deal with the trauma.
I think when you young and you get that fame real early, like when you a kid, you know, you start making all that money, and then eventually the kids start calling the shots and doing, and then like they don't really have nobody supervising, watching, whatever, because they making all this money. People start, like the parents might step aside and let somebody else mentor your child or whatever.
Crazy,
all that type of stuff, and then the kids start calling the shots because they making more money than all that. So,
and I think
a lot
too,
of that play.
They don't get the natural progression of growing up. Like I think they miss steps in development, and so as you get older, you regress back because you miss these steps. We saw that with Michael. Like, he was so childlike, but he never had a childhood. And I think he never recovered from that.
Right.
Even Britney, I think being in that industry really messed her up a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, because I got a couple of things to talk about. LeBron James, there was a lot of issues over a post saying you could be next or it could be you next. Because of the police shootings. It was one officer.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I guess it rubbed some people the wrong way. I know it was a black police officer who wrote, I think, LeBron something on Instagram or something. And, he was just saying, I guess it was more to what he said, but the you could be next part was I guess the part he had an issue with, because he was saying, like, we're not all bad cops. Like, sometimes, you know, people, we lump everybody in one sum. And he was like, well, we're not all bad cops. Like, we're not all out here doing this. We're not all out here trying to hurt people. But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting.
I mean, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
People get upset when celebrities speak up and say something. Like, I just
got a platform.
Yeah, but I just heard somebody else just recently say these celebrities need to stop speaking up and talking. And I'm like, first off, whether some of these celebrities are still being targeted. Like, I've seen basketball players, people didn't know who they were, just look like a black guy with a nice car, and you're still pulling them over. You're still tackling them. You're still harassing them. And then looking stupid once you realize they played for the NFL or they were a basketball player. But
yeah. Until we get to a point, I don't care if you an NFL player, a bum on the street, a crackhead, whatever you may be, you still got to treat people with some type of decency. I ain't saying we can't get arrested or whatever, but I need to be able to make it out alive. I need my son to be able to come home. I need my brother to be able to be fine in your hands. Like, when you see my son, he's the most sweetest kid in the world, but you might look at him, another person might look at him and see him as a threat. And it's my baby. Like, I need for, like, something just has to be done.
They need to treat, I want to be treated just like that 60-year-old man that had that cop on his car driving down the street with him with not one gun discharged, no tasers discharged. That's how you need to treat all of us.
Right. How did he look?
He was a white man.
That's why.
Yeah. Right, but that's what I'm saying. You treat all of us the same.
Well, just see white then. We just white.
No, that is a big problem because you can have a gun. I've seen white people with guns. I've seen white people with knives. And the police didn't shoot them. They did not tase them. And that's a problem because if it's us, we can have our hand on the wheel and you still shoot us.
And I will say, to benefit, you know, just not like that officer said, even though we know that all officers are not bad. But it's the same way with in the black community. You know, you have white cops and they encounter a lot of stuff, and you don't hear about cops killing people in the city like that, like unjust shootings. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we shot him in the back or nothing like that. Like we've been hearing. So it's all of them. They know how to de-escalate, and they run into people with knives and acting just like that man, but they killed him. They had that car with he jumped in the cop car with them weapons. This was a while ago. He had mental health. I think they ended up killing him though.
He jumped in the car.
Into the cop car. And into the squad car.
And did what? He took off?
I can't remember. But this was like, not last year. It might have been last year or something. But
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, but, you know. But same thing to the good cops. You can't be complacent. If you see something, you just as guilty as the rest.
You got to speak up.
Yep, you got to speak up.
But I think that's such a hard one right now because it's been so long where nobody speaks up. And the ones that do speak up, you end up being harassed. You end up receiving threats, and you end up losing your job and your livelihood because they either fire you or they find a reason for you to, they make you quit because they're bullying you. They're harassing you.
So they're a gang.
Yeah, it's the biggest
I just don't understand. You can't police people who you're scared of. If you're scared of me, it's you can't be scared and do that job. And
you really can't
be scared of the people who. If you're scared of us,
then you don't need to
be a police officer.
Right.
If you're scared of black people, you do not need to be a police officer.
Go to your community and police. Don't come here and police.
But see, that's why they were trying to make it where
they need to
police had to live in the areas, in the districts that they're policing, because then
you need to get to see these people. You need to be able to look at these people and see these people, know that they are actually human beings. Right?
Because they're your neighbors. If they're your neighbors, you look at them different.
You seeing these kids, and you seeing. So I don't know. They definitely need to probably.
And to be like, they try to pretend like the same stuff black kids do, Latino kids do, whoever do. All kids do the same stuff.
Yeah.
So y'all kids doing the same things, but y'all get a pat on the hand, pass like, oh, they're just being kids and all of this and that. But when a black kid do it, all, you know, Grand
Criminals.
Theft Auto and the white kid do it, they just joyriding.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, come on. So
They getting a mark on their record, and then my son is in jail, but your kid back in
Probation.
Right,
Right,
probation.
But my son got a criminal record
Yeah.
now. They, you know, that's just how.
like
it
that
is.
kid that raped that girl, and the doggone judge talking about, well, I don't want to ruin the rest of his life. What do you mean?
But if it was a black boy, he'd be doing 10
He'll be
years.
under the jail.
Yeah, if not more than 10. Yeah.
So that's just all a cop out. That's an excuse
But
that
that's,
they use.
But that's what you get when you have racists sitting on the bench. That's what you get when you have racist cops arrest, you know, just locking these kids up for no reason. Like that one kid, that one young man in New York, I can't think of his name right now, that got arrested for carrying his own backpack.
What?
For real. He got arrested for carrying his own backpack. He did 3 years.
yes.
With no trial.
He was in Rikers for 3
Oh, you mean-
years.
yeah.
He ended up committing suicide.
No,
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
because-
did.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I seen that. I read about that.
Yeah.
Because if you don't take that plea,
No, he didn't.
No,
listen,
he
He
didn't.
didn't have trial. He didn't have a trial.
no,
he didn't
listen.
have
If you
anything.
don't, if I come to you and I say, I'll give you, if you say you guilty, I'll give you a year. You can go home right now. But if you don't take it, I can hold you in Rikers. I can keep you in jail. And that's what happened. And they end up doing something to that young man in there because he was in there with grown men, and they played on his mental. And so when he did find it, he ended up committing suicide.
And he was in solitary confinement for a long time. They said.
And he never ever tried. And that's what they can do.
Yeah, but that's still nonsense. Because at the end of the day, had he been a white kid with money, he would have never been in there to begin with.
Yeah.
And had he had money, they would have been got him out of there. He didn't even have money. They didn't have money for bail. They didn't have anything. And he had to end up staying in there. But they kept prolonging everything. And he stayed in there for 3 years. I don't even think he went before a judge, if I recall.
So I will say this. Money trumps everything. So if he was a black young man with money, he'd have been out too. Because there's a lot of black kids, black people that get away with a lot of stuff that we'd be like, oh, that's some BS, but they got the money to pay for an attorney.
Yeah. He
So
didn't
as long as you got that, I mean, at the end of the day, and a lot of times, like we see the disparities because there's a financial disparity in the community. So of course they're getting public defenders that like overworked, don't have time for it, or they may not care. So they get bum deals versus if say one of us got into trouble or something, we'll probably get off because we be able to get an attorney.
We get an attorney.
Right, we gonna get an attorney,
Question.
and that's that.
Yeah.
And we not gonna sit in jail. We might be arrested that night,
And
but
be
you
out.
better guarantee we getting out on bail.
Definitely. But the crazy part, you arrested him. And this is, people act like systemic racism, profiling, all this stuff, it doesn't exist. You arrested this young man for walking with his own backpack. You said he stole his backpack. It was his bag. He didn't do anything. Things like that, that's a problem. But yet these people are still on the force. They didn't get in trouble.
They don't ever get in
They're
trouble.
still-
That's
they're-
the problem.
Yeah, they're still on the force.
Yeah. So it's never gonna get better until they start really punishing people for the things that they do. So,
Right.
All right.
All right, so, okay. Let's talk about, I don't want to say her name wrong, but Makaya Bryant, the 16-year-old girl in Columbus, Ohio, that was shot and killed by the police. I'll let you guys go first because I have so many thoughts on this one. So many thoughts.
That's a hard one
Was
for
it
me.
was it justified?
Yeah, that was a hard one. For one, I don't.
No, I don't think it was justified.
Why?
I just think
Why not?
because I feel like I feel like you could have tasered that girl or something. Why would you pull your gun to, like, if she was coming at him with a knife, then I would have said it was justified because he didn't know what she was going to do with the knife because his life was in immediate danger.
What somebody else's life was.
Then he should have tasered her.
Well,
and then I
okay,
feel
I'll
like
let you
then
finish
maybe he
first,
should have
hold on.
tasered her or whatever the case may be. And if that young lady, I did not want the woman, because it was a grown woman, to get stabbed. I didn't want her to get stabbed, but I feel like a taser would have shut that young lady down, and then she should have went to jail or whatever for stabbing that young lady. But I don't think if he do get in trouble for it, I don't think he should get in trouble for it long.
I don't think he is.
He not gonna get. That was a justifiable
That's
shooting.
deadly force.
Yeah, it was a justifiable
Yeah.
shooting. He not gonna go to jail for that.
I just feel like he could have did anything because I feel like, well, even if he don't get in trouble, I blame the girl's adoptive mother or whoever, the foster mother.
All the adults are to blame.
I blame her because she called her grown kids, foster kids that she had to come over and fight this teenager. If the girl was out of control, you should have called the state and sent her back to the state, but you just brought grown women over there to fight a kid. So, I don't know.
Yeah, all the adults.
I just feel like it was said that baby didn't have to lose her life for that. So, I blame the adults.
So I was torn with this one too because he did not have to kill her. So this is my thing. You didn't have to kill her, so you did pull your weapon up because she was going to literally stab the other lady, and we know that could have been a fatality there.
See,
she was going to stab two different ladies. She had her knife. She lunged. She swung the knife at the first lady to stab her that was on the ground that she was getting into it with. Then she took her knife and went after another lady. I'm seeing all this on camera.
Okay, so I forgot what I was gonna say.
He said he didn't have to shoot her.
Okay, so I'm saying he didn't have to shoot her. I feel like it could have been like a warning shot. You can shoot in the ground. I'm not gonna say in the air, but in the ground. But he did not have to shoot her 4 times.
Well, anytime
that's a lot. It was 4 shots. That was unnecessary.
Anytime you're trained with a gun, you can't pull your gun. If he would have shot in the gun and said I was just trying to warn her, then you didn't feel like the girl's life was in danger. If he pulled his gun, you gotta shoot to kill. That's automatically what they train you to, shoot and kill, not to wound somebody, stop you, might save your life. Even when you take a CPL class, when you pull a gun, you are trained. If you pull your gun, I'm going to kill you. If I pull my gun, I'm pulling it to kill you. I'm not going to pull you to scare you at all. I'm going to kill you automatically. If I pull my gun and I get arrested and I say I just pulled it out to scare you, I'm going to do time.
Well, he a cop, shit. They get away with everything. Jeez, now come on.
But
let's be
that's
realistic.
why I said maybe he should have pulled his taser.
Let's be realistic.
Listen, maybe he should have pulled his taser.
And
I don't know.
They do warning.
Taser the lady.
And they have done warning shots, so you can do a warning shot.
Okay. They just tell you when you pull your gun to kill. When he pulled his gun, he knew he was going to kill her.
I mean, this is the thing. At the end of the day,
he was going to shoot.
At the end of the day, I hate that a young lady lost her life, but we have to be realistic here. The police pull up. Only thing they see is a person with a knife trying to stab one person and then going after another. Now, she has her knife going after this girl. At the end of the day, as a cop, he did what he was supposed to do.
I don't know what he was supposed to do.
What he was supposed to do is stop that woman from getting killed. Because if you lunging that knife, this is the thing. He could have not shot her. She could have stabbed and killed this other woman. And then what? Oh, the police is right there. He didn't do anything. He didn't stop her.
But why do I feel like if it was 2 white women out there fighting, I don't think he would have pulled that gun and ended that white girl life.
He wouldn't. I feel like they could have probably tackled
some type of way.
It's possible.
They probably could have tackled. I was thinking like they could have tackled her.
I mean, at the end of the day, you pulling up. See, we all, none of us are police officers.
I didn't hear nothing. I just heard pop, pop, pop.
He told her to drop the weapon. He yelled and said, drop the weapon. She was going after that girl, and he shot her.
I didn't watch it.
I don't
like watching that stuff, so I didn't look at it.
I didn't know what
but
was
he
going
shot her
on.
more than one time.
I mean, at the end of the day, we not in that situation. And I'm not saying that everything the police is going to do is going to be right. But at the end of the day, if that was your son, at the end of that knife, you don't give a how many times he shoot. You want him to get that girl away from your son or that other man. If that was a grown man and he about to attack your son with a knife, you're not about to stand there, and I mean being real, you're not about to stand there and be like, you could have used that taser. Don't shoot him. No. You want that mother to get shot because you want him. You don't want nobody to die, but you want them on your son.
So let's put it like this. So, and because you made a good point. So if you have your CPL, correct? Mm-hmm. So if that situation was happening in front of your house and somebody was lunging to stab your baby and you had your weapon, what would you do?
You gonna shoot.
Listen, I'm going to shoot. But my thing is a different because I don't believe that my son will go and fight a kid.
We're not asking you that. We said this the situation.
You won't shoot. At the end of the day, that's what he's trained to do. But that's what he's trained to do. Deadly force is met with deadly force. And I hate that it was a kid. But I'm not about to blame that police officer for this.
If
He did
anything, the
exactly
adults,
what he was supposed to do.
I don't know. I
That's
guess-
what he was supposed to do.
but at the end of the day,
I
like,
just feel like
it was the
maybe it
adults
was-
that were to blame because
Yes,
it
the
never
adults-
had to escalate to that.
Yes, I do. I don't know because he was reacting. He didn't have a time to react, so I'm not gonna. I just wish that he could have used a taser or something else once I seen the whole situation.
Okay, but,
I mean,
but when you think about it, realistically,
But then-
tasers really don't incapacitate people
but
like that.
I just
It depends. Some people, it'll affect them. Some
and then
people,
some people
it
it
won't.
don't.
But
So
I mean,
that's a chance you take.
But this is the thing. We're sitting here watching the video, so we're able to see what's going on. We're able to process it and say, oh, this should have never happened. He could have figured out something else. But the fact of the matter is, a simple traffic stop, unfortunately, could either cost me my life or it could cost that officer his life. So sometimes you are reacting in the spur of the moment. You don't have time. You don't have a half hour or 10 minutes to
Yeah, they
figure
don't have
out
the luxury
whether
of
I can
that.
pull out the taser or whether I should use a gun. Because I've seen videos where officers that went over to cars, pulled them over, and as soon as they walk over to you, somebody in there with a gun and start shooting at them.
But
You
I've
don't
also
have time.
seen people with knives attacking police officers and guns and everything, and they de-escalate the situation or they figure out another way too. I just really don't think.
But you
I
gotta
just
think-
think-
but I mean, and then-
I just think if the people were, I just think it would have went a completely.
I mean,
I
different
agree
way.
with you.
No,
I think
agree.
he would have thought twice before he pulled the
I
gun
agree.
out and shot that
Possibly.
white woman.
It's
and
still-
killed her. I'm
I
pretty
agree.
sure he
But you
would
know
have.
what?
I
It
can
still
almost
depends.
guarantee he would have thought twice.
But it still
The lady
depends
probably
on
would've
the
went to jail, but she
officer.
probably would have ended up stabbing.
And then you
the
gotta
lady.
think about too,
I
like
don't know.
It
when-
depends on the officer though, and that's the thing. Every white cop ain't gonna just stand there and watch that and not do something. You still have some that are gonna pull out their gun. They don't care what color you are. You about to stab somebody.
yeah, because I didn't see some white cops manhandling some white.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
like, dang.
It depends on the officer. Every officer ain't racist. Every
Right,
officer ain't about to
every-
profile
Well,
us.
even
And
if he
some
don't,
officers-
I believe the adults need to be charged.
They
I
do.
mean,
feel
they
like the
definitely
adults
She
do.
should, and she should lose her foster care
I think
license.
it's
She
the
should
foster
never be
care
able to do a
mother.
foster again.
I understand kids are bad, kids get out of control, but I feel like instead of being a grown woman, I couldn't see myself calling some grown people or some other people over here to come fight a kid. Now, I will call the social worker and I will call the state and say, I can't do this. You need to come get her. And I will send her on her way. But the physically call some grown, 30, these women are 30.
But they
my age,
stupid
to
for
come fight
coming
a-
though. No, she's wrong for doing that. But at the end of the day, those grown women that came over there to fight a kid are the ones in the wrong.
And they should be
because you
charged as well.
stupid. Ain't nobody about to ever call me to say come beat up a 16-year-old. Now I'll come talk to you as an
Right.
adult. I'll talk to you.
Yeah.
I'll have a conversation with you. I'll even discipline you verbally or take your phone or something. But I'm not about to
But
go
I
nowhere and
struggle
fight
with
no
it.
doggone 16-year-old.
They could have. I just feel like they could
That
have
was
rushed.
just ignorance.
I just feel like they could have rushed her. I think they could have tackled her.
I don't know.
But was it
And I
more
don't
than
know,
one
but
officer or was it him?
it was two. But I mean, again, like we said, I wasn't in the situation.
But I'm not gonna lie, I did struggle with it. I really did struggle with it for a long time. I still kind of struggle with it. I don't know. I looked at it a whole lot of ways.
I mean,
so-
because she's a kid. She's a
And
year
I feel
older than
some
your
way. I
son.
got kids that age, so
That-
I'm like,
that's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, like, so
I mean,
I
I-
struggle with it.
I get where you're coming from, and when I saw the shooting, the first time I saw it, I just shook my head and I was like, "This is ridiculous. This is crazy." As a woman, as a mother, especially as a black woman, to see a kid, another young person that looked like me, shot and killed, that bothers me already. But at the end of the day, we still got to be accountable for what we do. You should have dropped that knife. And she might not have been thinking too, because in the heat of the moment, she's so angry and upset. But you lunged at one person with a knife, then you lunged at another one. So at the end of the day, the adults are definitely to blame for it. But her death was not caused because of an officer. Her death
No.
was caused because of a knife in her hand and her attacking, and possibly could be almost killing somebody.
If I see, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm a kid, if I'm a woman right now, and I see some people coming at me about to jump me, you best believe I'm gonna grab my knife. I'm gonna shoot you.
I mean, absolutely.
And
But
I'm
at the
in-
same time, the
if I
police
can-
was there.
But
She
they
didn't
was
stop.
they was already rumbling by the time when the police got there. They had started fighting or whatever.
But the thing
Once
is,
you
the other
fighting-
girl was on the floor. The woman was on the floor. I mean, on the ground. You lunge at her. This is all you seeing when you pull up and get out your car. She lunged at her like she's swinging on her with a knife. Then you run and you go after another lady, and all you see is a knife, and you going at them. I mean, at the end of the day, you talking about spur of the moment. You have to make a decision what you're going to do. He ain't had to shoot her 4 times, but at the same time, he shot her. It don't matter. The first shot could have killed her.
Yeah,
you know, we don't know
at the
that.
end of the day, I don't care. All you need is one shot. You know, that was over. You don't have to unload your clip.
Most of them ain't shooting just once. I mean, we're gonna be realistic. Most people when they start shooting, you're not shooting just once. At the end of the day, everybody was at fault. She should have dropped that knife when she saw the police. At the same time, you were so angry, you wasn't thinking about the police. She was the one that called.
I mean,
they put him. Yeah,
and I also blame the grown women because at the end of the day, we're their adults. Yeah, she a kid.
Because when
You're the adult.
When I first saw it, I
can't act off of kid emotions.
I didn't feel any type of way about the officer because I did see the steal of her lunging.
I get why he shot.
I'm like, she was trying to stab somebody up.
I mean, I get why he shot. He had to react, but I just wondered, was it another way that it could have happened, or was that the only way that it should have went down? Like,
I mean, just like
I don't know.
And then too, like Chris said, you know, they gotta think quick on their feet as well.
Like,
and you don't have time to think. And he could have thought like, dang, if I do the taser, she might still stab this girl and kill her. So I'm gonna have to shoot her.
I mean, wrong decision. At the end of the day, when you have a split second to make a decision on certain things, wrong decision could cost you your life, or it could have cost somebody else their lives. They're put in situations that we would never be able to understand. Because we don't have a gun. You know what I'm saying? We don't have his badge. We're not dealing with all the crazy stuff they're dealing with.
They'd be like, you on death duty, you done shot 5 people.
So look,
I'm going home.
Let's move on real quick. Let's move on real quick. Andrew Brown Jr. in North Carolina shot by the police 4 times. They claimed they were executing a warrant. And he was in the car or something. And he tried to pull off. I'm not sure how that went. Whatever the case, they tried to execute a warrant. Next thing you know, he's shot and killed, and shot in the back of the head.
Yeah.
But they claim he was in the car, so I'm not really sure how that went. That doesn't sound.
And I'm like, are they supposed to be? They're not supposed to be shooting at moving vehicles if it's not coming towards them.
They claim now they're saying that he tried to back over a couple of the deputies.
Well, who had on a body cam?
The whole story is sounding really. Like they're making it up as they're going.
Because that's the one where they still haven't released them body cams, and they fighting to get them body cams because they know it was some BS.
They said only the family saw like a little part of it, but they said that they did an independent autopsy and that he had a bullet wound to the back of the head, like execution style.
Yep, I did hear that.
Yeah, so everybody's waiting to see the
Until they start holding police officers accountable, and I mean not letting you retire, run that pension, you fired. When they start hitting them in them pockets, that's when they'll stop doing that. That's when they'll start thinking twice. If you keep getting a pat on the hand and you get to resign, but you still get to keep your pension, you get to keep all this stuff and still have your livelihood with your family, with who cares? But if I run your pension and the family can sue you, I bet you would think twice about pulling that weapon again.
Also, you cannot, once you get fired, you cannot get another job with another police department.
Yep.
Because we be acting like we really got a victory when we be thinking this police officer got fired.
They
all they do
get
is
hired
go somewhere else.
Or at least it should be a probationary period, like 10 years. You can't do this. You got to find something else to do.
Pretty much.
They should have just like they were saying, they should have a license, just like a social worker have to have a license. They should have license, and they should be sanctioned for all the stuff that they do.
And I'm going to say one more thing that I hear people say all the time. Police need to be taught de-escalation training. That's a lie. That's some nonsense. It's a lie and some nonsense. Because if you only have to be taught how to de-escalate a situation when it's a black person or a Latino, then that just means you're racist and you need to be fired. You don't need to be taught how to de-escalate anything because you know how to clearly do it if it's someone that looks like you.
or you have an
But
irrational fear.
But they're not scared of people who love it. They're scared
That's
of
what
us.
I'm
They not scared of us. They target us. Some mother suckers.
They target us,
They do
and
not
they
be
also
scared
are
of
scared
us.
of us. I do believe some of them are scared of us.
People, listen. I think this is a lie Black people done told ourselves to justify why people do stuff to us. We always talk about how white people so scared of us.
not.
I done had a whole lot of white friends, and them suckers crazy. They are not scared of us. They are not. Some of them will actually jump on us. Some Black people scared of other Black people. We all know not to go. I'm not gonna say nobody's neighborhood. I ain't gonna put that out there. But we all know in certain neighborhoods we not gonna drive through middle of the night. We know in certain neighborhoods you ain't gonna never catch us walking through, cause we all know what's gonna happen. So I mean, reality is everybody is a little scared of something or somebody or certain areas and neighborhoods. But these white people not scared of us like that.
Well, this about to be a whole nother topic. So
maybe we'll finish it up. Hopefully, by the time we come back next week, we won't have any more shootings to discuss in the next 2 weeks. So,
I hope not.
any final words, ladies, before we wrap it up and say goodbye to our beautiful audience?
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say is next time we come back, I didn't get to this, but that Republican Tim Scott that said America is not a racist country. Definitely want to talk about that and touch on that. He's a Black Republican.
We can.
The puppet.
Oh, I got lots to say
that.
about that. We can talk about Candace Owens as well. Okay, so well, till next time, everybody, y'all have a beautiful next few weeks because we'll be back in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, you said few weeks. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
Why you said so long?
Couple weeks. They know what I'm talking about. Till next time, be safe and have a wonderful day.
Goodbye.
Tomorrow's Friday. TJF. All right.
Make a move, make it
Yeah.
Forget the rest.
Are y'all feeling better?
You're rocking with the best radio station on the planet. SDM Live Unplugged.